I've never been a big football watcher. I mean, I've always been a Saturday night kind of guy, if you know what I mean, like UFC and all that shit. I was super into that, and I've never really been the type of guy who tunes into the NFL or any of that kind of stuff. But recently, that changed. Literally last week, or possibly tonight. I might just upload this tonight. um, Recently, I happened to be downstairs when my dad's game was starting. It was the Ravens versus the Steelers, and it was the game to see whoever wins they go to the playoffs. Side note real quick, no clue why my dad likes the Steelers. I don't think he's lived farther than the east than Kansas. Like, I think the farthest east he's lived is Kansas that I know of. Maybe he's lived farther, maybe he just adopted it from one of his parents who lived in Pittsburgh. I don't even know. There's genuinely no clear reason, but I digress. Irregardless, I adopted the Steelers love at some point when I was younger, but I didn't really stick around for a lot of the games because I had my own games to play, you know? I was a youngin', I loved my fucking Roblox, all that shit, you know? But that changed the night after one of my hardcore Elder Scrolls Marathon streams I just finished. I was sitting down, looking at my analytics, seeing how everything went, you know, recapping. And I went downstairs to go get dinner, and the game was on. So I decided to stay and watch the whole game. It started off pretty rough with the Ravens being 7-0 until like halfway through the match, or the game, not the match. This ain't UFC. As the game goes on, more and more points are being scored like left and right, and both teams are straight up running it. Third quarter is finishing up, and the score, I think it was 10-13 with Pittsburgh at 13 or something. And most of the match was super like, I mean, it was scory, but fourth quarter is really, that was the most stressful part of the game. It was the most stressful, most extravagant, most heart palpitating moment my father and I have likely ever faced, and he fought in Iraq in the 2000s. It starts off with the Ravens getting a touchdown, and the second they got a touchdown, I grabbed my cross necklace, which I had it just because I thought it looked cool, like no other reason. I was like, oh, this just goes well with the fit. And I grabbed it and I genuinely started praying. And before we continue, quick side note, for those of you who don't read the community notes or just haven't heard from any of the videos, I recently dislocated my knee, and I'm about to get an MRI for it to check for any loose cartilage, because if I have any, I need to get surgery. I'm fucking terrified of getting surgery. I've never had to in recent memory, and I don't like the idea of my knee being cut open while I'm asleep, or any part of me being cut open while I'm asleep. That's uncomfortable as shit, probably even on those like sleep drugs they give you. Irregardless, I can remember like exactly what I said to my cross. I gripped that shit as soon as the Ravens score, put my head down and whisper to it, God, if I have cartilage knocked loose in my knee, let the Ravens win. And I say this because that way I can predict my knee problems and possibly help the Steelers out. It's a double whammy either way though is the problem. Because my week and possibly month is either ruined because the Ravens win and I need surgery and that means I'm out for the entire wrestling season. Or the Steelers win and I might be able to wrestle for like the last week of the season. You know, make a quick recovery because all I need is physical therapy. As soon as I say this shit, Pittsburgh gets a touchdown. And they also bag the field goal, so I'm hype. I don't really get to celebrate too much though, because soon as I'm starting to be confident in our team, Ravens get ahead 24-20. At this point in the game, my heart is beating out of my chest. And when the Steelers get another touchdown, they biff the field goal. So we're only up by 2 points. It's 24-26. My father has given up at this point and is walking out the room saying, it's over, we lost, it's over, we lost. But since my knee's fucked up, I'm just still sitting on the sofa. I'm not trying to get up and follow him and be like, come back over. So I'm just yelling, it ain't over till it's over, it ain't over till it's over. I was just like, I gotta have faith. I gotta have faith. I don't want cartilage knocked loose in my knee. I'm terrified of surgery, please. So eventually he comes back, sits back down. Or no, he was pacing. He got up. He didn't sit down as soon as we got to that last 1 minute of the fourth quarter. But yeah, he comes back at the last minute of the fourth quarter, and the Steelers hold the Ravens off for 3 because the Ravens have the ball. They hold them off for like 3 downs before they knock that ball halfway up the field and get another first. My father is predicting the Ravens to kick a field goal and win, and I'm genuinely praying to God that they whiff so I don't need surgery. I'm actually like hand in cross, it's starting to cut the inside of my palm, and I'm just like, please bro, please, because they are maybe 20 yards away from the field goal. Like, they are within field goal range. They can kick it, and they're probably going to, because that's probably the correct strategy there. I don't know football, you know, I'm very MMA based, but like I learned that. I was asking a lot of questions as the game went on, and I learned that's probably the best strategy there. You know, you're only down by 2 points. Kicking a field goal is 3, apparently, I think is what he said. So they're gonna go for that, obviously. It comes down to the last 2 seconds. The Ravens get the ball, and they have, I think Tyler Loop was their kicker. And the time starts, they get the ball and punt it, or they just kick it. And I watched that shit fly. And at first it looks like it's going in. You know, my father's face drops. And by a motherfucking inch, it goes outside the field goal. The amount of like ecstasy I felt, I have never felt so relieved in my entire life. That was the biggest weight I've ever like felt get lifted. My heart immediately like calmed down. My father, there was a light in his eyes once more. I look my father, who is wearing full Steelers gear, in the eye and tell him, you owe me an Arizona tee. Because how is a first time watcher gonna have more faith than you, dog? I wasn't wearing any Steelers gear. I just watched down and happened to watch the game, and I believed in them every single second, mostly because I wanted my knee to be okay. But irregardless, I digress. Granted, we go like 9-8 every season. He kind of had a right to expect that, but I must just be good luck, I guess. The second I watch a match, I mean, we're already in the playoffs. I don't know how we're gonna do. I think we go against I don't know. I know we go against the Patriots or the Chargers for the second playoff match. I don't know who we're doing first if we win. At this point, though, I'm already thanking God. Right, I'm like, okay, let's go. That hopefully means like that's a good sign that I don't have loose cartilage in my knee. But get this. After the game, they reveal that the Steelers got a priest to spread holy water on their field. As I am watching this in like the post-game recap, I am genuinely astounded. My jaw drops to the floor. I literally just sat there. And my father goes in his room because he's just gonna go to bed. And I just like paused and was like, damn. Holy water, cross necklace, legitimately praying all for that win. Did that actually just happen? Like I go upstairs and I reflect for a moment, like, did that shit actually just happen? I was straight dumbfounded. I like actually just could not process that. That was so much in one moment. I was like, God might be real. So, yeah. I think that's how a Steelers game might have instilled a faith of God into me. Quick reminder, any faith, including the absence of such, is a valid belief. I'm not trying to spread any ideas around. I just thought it'd be a funny story to tell y'all, you know. Believe whatever you want. Like, at the end of the day, it should only be you who cares about what you believe in. I'm not gonna like hate. I'm not gonna be like, only Christians can watch this channel, bro. You can believe in whatever you want, bro. No one, I don't care. This is just what I got. But yeah, that's all I got. Hopefully this video hit 8 minutes and don't die. That shit kills you.